Adulting, I think it's when you decide what it is you're going to do with your life. So I knew out of high school I was going to go to college and I was going to be a teacher because I love kids and that's what I want to do. So I worked really hard in school and I actually got an athletic scholarship to school to do gymnastics, and I was like, great, I can go, I'm going to be a teacher. The school I went to didn't have an education program. So it's kind of hard to be a teacher when you don't have an education program, and they said, that's okay. You'll just be undecided or undeclared. And I'm like, yes, but I have to get through this, and then I have to figure out how am I going to get certified to be a teacher. So I did that. That was in 1988. In 1990, I hurt my knees and I lost my scholarship, so I figured this is my chance. I can be a teacher. I can go to Westchester. So I transferred back home and I went to Westchester, which is a great teacher's college. So I was there and I had taken a bunch of classes that should have transferred and didn't transfer, and it makes life very complicated, but I got in there and I got into my education classes and I absolutely loved them. And I was kicking butt and things were going great, except for one class that I couldn't pass, which was math. So I took it twice, I withdrew twice, and I did everything else. I had A's in everything else. My student teaching was great. Couldn't take this math class, I couldn't pass it. So I did my student teaching and I had a great experience, and I had to go back that summer and I had to take this dumb math class so I could go take my certification test. And I realized that as an adult, I couldn't ask my parents again to pay for a math class for the 4th time, so I had to pay for it myself. And I went in to register. I'm like, okay, this shouldn't be too much, like what, $100, $200? The woman pulls up the bill. She's like, okay, that'll be $875 for your summer math class. I'm like, $875? I don't have a job. I can't pay $875 for this math class. So I'm like, can you bill me? She's like, sure, I can bill you. So I was like, all right, because I had no student loans left. They were all done. So I finally passed the math test, and it's time to go and take the certification test. And I take the first part, and I pass it, no problem. I take the second part, and I pass that too. And something that happened when I was doing my student teaching was I realized as I had gotten through the student teaching part, I had great experiences. I student taught kindergarten. That was my first assignment. I had 25 kindergartners in the morning and 25 kindergartners in the afternoon, and it was the very first time that this teacher had a student teacher, and she was just so grateful that I was there to help her because she had been handling all these kids in this inner city situation by herself with no help. And she's like, oh, thank God you're here. I was like, why? She goes, wait till you see. So one of the things that I had to do was go back to my advisor and say, hey, he said, what did you learn? I said, what do you mean, what did I learn? I learned a lot. But he's like, what's the most important thing you learned? I said, with kindergartners? He said, yes. I said, never, ever turn your back. So I would literally walk around the classroom like this so I could see everything that was going around me, because they were just like cats. They would go everywhere and you couldn't get them back. He's like, that's good, that's good. The second, it was split in 2 halves. The second half was 3rd and 4th grade. And I had an amazing woman who was getting her PhD to be a principal or superintendent, even better. And I had a gifted class. It was brilliant. They were 3rd and 4th graders who were brilliant. And I was like, how am I going to teach these kids? They're probably smarter than me. What am I going to do? So I went out and I bought all this stuff, and I brought in living things because we were doing a unit on living things. And as I did that, I could see around me that the other teachers in the wing were like, no, you can't do that. You can't bring living things in here. That's not how we do it here. So as I got done my student teaching, I knew I loved kids, and I knew I loved that, but I knew I wasn't going to survive in that kind of environment where you just had to do exactly what they told you. So I looked at my parents one day and I was like, I know I have to take this third part of this test, but I don't want to. And they're like, what do you mean you don't want to? I said, I don't want to, but I still want to teach kids. They're like, well, what do you want to do? I said, I want to start my own business. They're like, what? I said, yes. I said, I want to start a preschool gymnastics center, and I want to teach little kids how to tumble, but I want to do it in a way that it's never been done before. And they looked at me like I was crazy for about 3 seconds. And they said, is that really what you want to do? I said, yes. I said, I love kids. I love gymnastics, which is what I went to school for. I said, and I can do this and I can do it well. And that was 1993. And 25 years I've been doing this business. It's called Tiny Tumblers. And it is absolutely the best thing I've ever done as an adult. Woo.